Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kruto Vande Bhagavanto Punah Gururatmedi Murti Bhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandatami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramo Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidussura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Read from the verse 27. Prakrute kriyamānāni gunai karmāni sarvashah ahankāra vimūಢātmā kartāhamiti mañyate tattvavittu mahābāho gunakarma vibhāgayoh guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate prakriter guna sammūಢāः sajjante gunakarmasu tāni kritsnavido mandān kritsnavinna vichālayet mayi sarvāni karmāni sanyasyādhyātma cetasā nirāshir nirmamo bhūtvā yudhyasva vigatajvarah The last verse, 30th verse, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa sanyasya. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. Sanyasya, the literal meaning seems to be sanyasya, renouncing. But here it means offering. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. Offering all your actions to me. Mai vasudeve parameshware sarvajne sarvatmane. Lord Krishna says, may you offer all your actions to me. Now when Lord Krishna uses the pronoun I, what does he mean? So sometimes it can be interpreted as the person that Lord Krishna is, or Supreme Godhead is Lord Krishna. That also is an interpretation. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna does not talk about the person. There is no description of the person Lord Krishna anywhere. All along there is a description of Ishvara. So here Lord Krishna talks as Ishvara. Or Lord Krishna may talk as Param Brahma. But here talks as Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? The creator, the sustainer, the dissolver of the whole universe. Ishvara is defined as Yatova imani bhutani jayante, that from which the universe is born, by one who it is sustained, and to whom it goes back. Who is the cause of the creation? Both the material as well as the intelligent cause of the creation. In the word of Puja Swamiji, one who is the maker as well as the material. Who is the maker of the universe as well as the material from which the universe is made. Meaning that what is nothing but Ishvara. If the material from which pots are made is clay, then wherever pots are, then there is clay. In this instance, the pot maker is different from the pot, but in the case of universe, the maker, the material of the universe is not separate from Lord. And the verse says, Adi Shankaracharya, may, hey Arjuna, may you offer all your actions to me. Who is Vasudeva? One that dwells as a self in all the beings, the self-shining consciousness which is self of all the beings, Parameshwara, who is the one that is the supreme ruler, meaning the supreme controller, who is the ruler or the controller of the entire universe. Sarvajne, who is omniscient. So Sarvatmane, one that is the self of all, the omniscient, omnipotent, the Antaryami, the inner ruler of the universe, Lord Krishna says, that is what I am, that's all there is. What is the manifestation of me, who is omniscient, omnipotent. And therefore, may you offer all your actions to me. There are two altars where we can offer actions. One is the altar of ego, where we can offer the actions. Meaning that when we perform actions for ego gratification, to satisfy the agenda of the ego, to satisfy the desires of the ego, or to satisfy the likes and dislikes of the ego. Meaning that whenever an action is performed as motivated by my likes and dislikes, it is for the gratification of ego. Then we have offered it. Meaning that offering of action takes place always. And if we do not pay attention, then our actions are habitually offered to the ego for the self-gratification, for self-glorification. That is the usual habit that we have, and we think that that is the way to perform the action. But all along, Lord Krishna has been showing the disadvantages of offering action to the self or the ego. Inasmuch as ego means the raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes, acting out of likes and dislikes is what normally a human being does, because that is what one thinks brings happiness. What brings happiness, what seems to bring happiness is when what I like, I achieve what I like and I get rid of what I dislike. So in that person sees success and happiness. Whereas here Lord Krishna wants to completely reverse this trend. Hey, happiness is not in satisfying your raga dveshas. Happiness is not in satisfying your ego. Happiness is not satisfying the urges of your sense organs. In fact, that seems to bring you some kind of a temporary happiness, but in fact creates all the ground for future unhappiness. So inasmuch as human being, on account of ignorance, on account of lack of viveka or discrimination, thinks that satisfying my desire is the means of happiness. Satisfying my raga dveshas, likes and dislikes, is a means of happiness. It looks like it. When I get what I want, I seem to feel happy. When my raga, my desire is satisfied, what I like happens, I'm happy. When I can avoid the happening of what I dislike, I'm happy. Lord Krishna says, no, there is binding happiness. It's only short-term happiness. Short-term gratification brings long-term pain. So yes, there is a way of what we call the short-term gain and the long-term pain. Going for immediate gratification, easy gratification. That is what the human mind goes for. Now that is a path of bondage, in as much as this whole aspect or this whole method only intensifies my likes and dislikes, intensifies the impulses, and therefore makes me more and more helpless and more bound and dependent. So this life of gratifying the ego, the life of satisfying my urges of sense organs, functioning out of self-interest, looks like bringing immediate gratification to me, but it brings a long-term unhappiness or bondage to me. Lord Krishna wants other way around. Hey, you act not for self-gratification, not for fulfilling self-agenda, but fulfilling my agenda, Lord Krishna says. You function to fulfill agenda of Ishvara. How can I fulfill Ishvara's agenda unless I give up my agenda? Fulfilling Ishvara's agenda requires me to give up my agenda, and my self-centered, insecure self resists that. The inner insecurity resists any attempt to give something away, because the insecurity within me always says, what am I? What's going to happen to me? So that insecurity. The insecure self resists any kind of reaching out or giving away, thinking that I'll become more insecure. Here Lord Krishna says that you cannot become free from insecurity by satisfying your insecurity. It only perpetuates insecurity. Therefore, fake it till you make it. Act as though you are a secure person. An insecure person will never part with anything because he sees security in his possessions. Lord Krishna says security is to be discovered from yourself. As long as you depend on other things, so long you will never gain security, never gain freedom. And therefore a reversal of the process or what an ignorant person does. The earlier verses describe the ignorant person as to how that person acts only as motivated by his nature of self-centeredness, seeking immediate gratification, performing action only for personal gain. Those people are described. Lord Krishna, hey Arjuna, you don't fall in that category, because that is living life of bondage and pain and sorrow. So by satisfying our desires or our ambitions, we may be successful and we may feel that we are happy, but all that process where I always stand for myself ultimately brings only, it intensifies the sense of inadequacy. So Lord Krishna wants us to discover adequacy in our life, fullness in our life. Because fullness is our nature, and therefore the only way that we can own up that fullness is by tapping into the fullness on every occasion. So any karma that we perform, any interaction that we perform, make that as an occasion of tapping into your wholeness which you have. But I don't feel, Swamiji, I don't feel whole. Even if you don't feel, believe, fake it that you are feeling. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya, meaning that may you offer all your actions to me, may you perform actions to fulfill my agenda, Ishvara's agenda, not the agenda of the limited self or self-centered being. It's a big thing, not a simple thing. Nice, but yeah, that's what law, we have to slowly do that. An action or an interaction gives us an opportunity to do that. As the Swami used to say that, physicalize your attitude. If there is an attitude that I want to grow into my, into my large-heartedness, to happiness, then I have to be deliberate. In every situation, I have to make a choice. Choice is whether I should do what I am about to do for satisfying my personal self-satisfaction, or do I do that as an offering to Ishvara? Do I function to fulfill his agenda, or do I function to fulfill my agenda? The choice is that in every situation. In every little interaction, that choice is there. Even when I talk to anything I do, that choice is always there. As the Swami used to say, whenever anybody comes before me, the first thought in my mind is, how can I be useful to that person? Meaning that when I am interacting with you, both these things are possible. That either I have the attitude of being useful to you, or the attitude of using you. Both these are possibilities in every situation. Whether this little interaction of talking to you also is meant to fulfill my agenda, or I want to assist your agenda. But how do you know what is my agenda, Swami? You want to be happy, that much I know. And so in what way can I contribute to your happiness? That's what Lord Krishna prescribed as a means of being happy. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. May you offer all your actions to me. Me means anything other than ego, because everything is Ishvara. But better we understand Ishvara, better this thing becomes. Therefore, here Adi Shankaracharya explains, Mai Vasudeve Sarvagne Parameshware Sarvatmani. Seventh case. I, who is the servant of all, who is Parameshwara, who is the supreme ruler, who is omniscient. And we should add, who is benevolent. He is not only all powerful and omniscient, etc. Suppose Ishvara is like that, so what? What is in it for me? Because he is benevolent, he is kind, and therefore he is of the nature of anugraha, or of the nature of grace. So I, who always blesses, So when you make an offering to me, whether you want it or not, you will get the blessing. If you want blessing in your own term, then you will get in that term. If you don't have any term and you make an offering without any terms and conditions, unconditionally, then I will decide what is best for you. When we do something, the result will come. Either we choose the result and restrict the benefit that an action can give, or leave it up to Ishvara. You decide. Sarvajna, he is omniscient. He knows what is best for me. Let him decide. What should be the outcome of the action for me? Let him decide what is best in. But Swamiji, sometimes he gives pain. He doesn't always give what I want. Let him decide. But this is where Shraddha also comes. That he is my well-wisher. He is Suhrit, as Lord Krishna himself declares, that I am the well-wisher of all the beings. So our Swami also says, Karma Yoga cannot be without bringing Ishvara. Because it is offering to Ishvara, it is Bhakti Yoga. This is called Karma Yoga because the day-to-day actions that we perform are performed in the spirit of worship of Ishvara. It will be called Bhakti Yoga where the upasana or the meditation upon Ishvara is primary. And special actions are performed such as pujanam, japaha, chintanam. So generally that is called Bhakti Yoga. But otherwise our Swami never liked the distinction between Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga is Bhakti Yoga. It is a separate Bhakti Yoga. But the word uses the word Bhakti Yoga. Suppose we want to justify use of that word, then you can say that special actions performed such as pujanam, such as japaha, such as chintanam, such as meditation, mental worship, all of these special actions, although can be classified as karma yoga, but then can be called bhakti yoga because it is much easier to relate to Ishvara when it's between you and Ishvara alone. This is a little tough job. To have the spirit of worship, interacting with the world is not easy. It's much easier in the puja room where I am there only with the Lord. So it's easier to maintain the spirit of worship. It's easier when I am thinking myself of Lord, of my Ishtadevata, of thinking about Him, His form, His glory, His name, etc. But this is tougher. Because the world always keeps on pushing your buttons. You may want to do good, but then they have their own agenda and therefore the world will push buttons. So this is a little tough job. To maintain that spirit of offering, in spite of provocations come to you, because they push the button of your ragadveshas, meaning the ragadveshas are there inside. So we have to overcome the ragadvesha and try to maintain the spirit of offering to Ishvara. Ishvara's agenda of doing good to everybody. In what way I can be useful? Simple. In what way can I be useful? So, Mai karmani sarvani ka sanyasya. How do you do that? Adhyatma chetasa. So, your Bhashyakara explains. Adhyatma chetasa. Adhyatma means pertaining to self. So, Adhyatma Chetasa means keeping Atma in the mind. But here that expression is explained as Viveka Buddhya. By Viveka Buddhi, by right understanding. So, when I am performing an action as an offering to Ishvara, who can make an offering? Who can perform action in the spirit of worship? Only a devotee can do, understand? For me to love you, in me the love must be invoked, otherwise it becomes more a formality. To serve you, a servant must be invoked from me, otherwise I can do the gestures of serving. But the spirit of serving has to invoke from me. So I must become a servant in order to serve you. I can't retain my status as I'm so and so, and then I must become servant. And we have been remembering Gandhiji since morning, but he that is exactly what he did. There was a what is it? The Rakta means what? Leprosy, yeah, exactly. That those days, 100 years ago, and 78 years of leprosy was very much reviled. I think people just hated them. They always, those people were like pariahs. Nobody would touch them. People would throw them out of their house. And there was a person like that who was a great scholar. And then he contracted this leprosy. And he said, before I die, Swami Gandhiji, I want to have a darshan. So he travelled all the way wherever he was. He came to Varda, where Gandhiji was. And he said, I will not come near you, don't worry, I will not pollute you. I will not. They thought it was an infectious disease. So he was lying under a tree, and Gandhiji goes there, brings him to his ashram. And no ashramite would be willing to touch him. So, no, I will do it. He personally served this leper. And he would bathe him, he would first of all clean his wounds and bathe him, and because a lot of pain is there, massage him, do all kinds of things. You can do that, and your action will reach that person, provided it's done with the right spirit. Otherwise, there are professional massagers and things like that, and you know how that feels. And when somebody devoted to you does, it's a different feeling, is it not so? That when you go to a restaurant, a waiter also serves you. And at home, your mother also serves you. It's a different thing. Similarly, here, Adhyatma Chetasa, you should, in order that you offer your action to Ishvara, you must become a devotee. In order to offer your action to your master, you must become a servant. So here Shankaracharya says, Aham karta Ishvaraya bhruttivat karomi. I am the doer of the action, I am the servant. Just as the servant would serve the master, so also I am serving Ishvara, who is my master, I am his servant. So this is his suggestion, Bhashyakara's suggestion here. How do you offer your actions to Ishvara? And the action is an ordinary action of walking and talking and eating. And whatever, a duty basically, what is meant is duty. What actions you are required to perform. Play various roles. With every role you can become a bhakta. Our Swami used to really explain it very nicely. That our relationship with people keep on changing. With father I am son, and with sister I am brother, and so on and so forth. So depending upon who I relate to, my role or my identification changes. But my relation with Ishvara is constant. He is Bhakta, he is Bhagavan, and I am Bhakta. And therefore, if I keep that in mind, I remain a Bhakta all the time. So I play the role of father, Bhakta. Son, Bhakta. Servant, Bhakta. So whereas my duty requires me to play a variety of roles and assume variety of roles and therefore assume different kind of identities, like a father, like a son, like a servant, like a boss. In each case, I can be Bhakta, Bhakta father, Bhakta, etc. So, Bhrutyavat karomi, that I am servant of the Lord. That servant is supposed to be devoted to the master, by the way. Servant is not just a professional fellow. Servant in the olden days, servant means one who is devoted to the master, who has totally offered himself to master. in whose mind only the well-being of master is of primary value. Those days. When anything becomes a job and becomes a profession, then it's a different thing. But ideally, a servant is one who is devoted to the master. And therefore, Bhashyakara says, Bhrutyavat, like a servant. Meaning, when you bring yourself, make a servant, automatically the devotion to the master comes. That's what you must be expecting. So, become a devotee. And becoming a servant is a way of becoming a devotee also. So, how do you offer your actions? By invoking a devotee in you, a servant in you. In every situation, I am a servant of Ishvara. I am father of this person, but servant of Ishvara. I am son of this person, servant of Ishvara. I am the boss of this person, servant of Ishvara. Sarvani karmani. All your actions may you thus offer to me. All the time remembering, I am bhrutya, I am servant, I am devotee, devotee, devotee. This is offering. And then, in offering, other conditions are not necessary really. But still, in servant also, there may be a certain agenda that he expects his master to return the favor. Servant knows that my master will take care of me. He returned. So maybe even in serving also, there may be some personal agenda. There may be some expectation of the reward. So Lord Krishna qualifies nirashihi, without any expectation at all. This is a tough job, but the condition he is putting here is that you offer your actions nirashihi, without any expectation of a personal reward. This is all easier said than done, but ultimately this is a karma yogi, and this is what we have to become. Because personal agenda means raga-dvesha. It is my attachment and aversion that alone make a demand that they should be satisfied whenever I do something, and I do not submit to them. When I am about to do something, my raga-dvesha say, what is in it for us? And I said, nothing for you. Nirashihi, meaning may your actions not be prompted by your likes and dislikes. May your actions not be prompted by a consideration of personal gain, of personal agenda, of satisfying your ego, satisfying your senses, self-satisfaction. May your action be performed totally for the satisfaction of Ishvara. Nirashihi nirmamo bhutva. The nirmama word is explained here as freedom from mamatva, mindness. Otherwise, nirmama means one who is insensitive, feelingless. But nirmama here is explained as where my mind is free from the sense of mama, mine. So, say that nothing is mine. A lot of things are mine, they are not. Body is mine. Mind is mine, and these things are mine with my things that I am making an offering. Lord Krishna says, nirmamaha, nothing is yours. In words of Pujya Swamiji, everything is given to you. The body also is given to me. The sense organs also given to me. Mind also given to me. Intellect also given to me. Whatever today I claim as mine is really all given to me. So Lord, everything is mine, Lord Krishna says, nothing is yours. Meaning that ideally a karma yogi doesn't think that this all belongs to me, I am more a trustee of this body, mind, sense complex rather than owner of them. Because only one who has created can be the owner. I have not created them, Ishvara has created them, given to me in their way. He is the owner, I am a trustee. I must take care of them. All of these, therefore, the capacities that belong to the body, to the mind, all of that belongs to this personality, all really belongs to Ishvara. So all of that is used for his benefit. Nirashi nirmamo bhutva. So, in the 5th chapter it will be said, Kayena manasa buddhya kevalehi indriyehi api. The yogis perform action without the identification, without the sense of ownership with the body, sense organs. If the owner is Ishvara. Yudhyasva, perform your duty. Yudhyasva means fight, means perform your duty. Yudhyasva is specifically Arjuna because his duty was to fight battle. Yesterday somebody was talking to me and I was discussing with that person that Arjuna is not here to kill people. Although that is what his mind, that is called delusion or moha. When Arjuna came to the battlefield, it was very clear that I am here to protect dharma. As a Kshatriya, my role is to protect righteousness, protect dharma. And Duryodhana and all these forces stand for adharma. Because Duryodhana stood for adharma. And therefore, all those who sided with him automatically, whether they like it or not, they supported the cause of adharma. Because if Duryodhana had won this, adharma would have won. And this fellow would have been accessories, all of them, to adharma. Is it not so? Therefore, even though Bhishma and Drona themselves may be dharmika, but inasmuch as they took the paksha of adharma, they became also only part of adharma. Because the leader is adharma. Yudhishthira, leader is dharma. On side of Pandava. So Arjuna had this clarity that I am here to protect dharma. And I am resisting the force of adharma. What is called delusion? The transference took place, superimposition took place, that instead of these fellows being adharma, they became svajana. His mind underwent a change. So he came to fight with adharma. But somehow, whatever happened in him, that all of a sudden he superimposed his idea of svajana. These are my near and dear one. How can I kill them? And instead of him being protector of dharma, he became a son or a father or a cousin or whatever, he became a svajana. So this is called moha. Moha is seeing what is not there. But Swamiji, he is a cousin of somebody, and he is a nephew of somebody, and he is a father of somebody. Why do you say he's not in the battlefield? Not at home he is. In battlefield he is not. So when you are playing with your father also at home, you are playing chess, then you play properly. Not that because he is father, therefore you give him advantage. You don't do that. So when the rules apply to whatever role you are playing. If you are playing a game, then rules of game apply, not rules of home. So when Arjuna is in battlefield, then rules of battlefield apply. The rules of palace don't apply here. And he cannot bring in battlefield at home. He can't use his weapons at home. Then the rules of home apply. Then he will only prostrate to Bhishma Pitama. He won't send an arrow there. At home he will only shower flowers at Bhishma Pitama or to Dronacharya. Is it not so? But his mind underwent all these things. Ishubhi pratiyotsyami pujarho harisudana. Oh Lord, these are all worthy of worshipping my flowers, and you are asking me to send arrows at them? But flowers at home, arrows in the battlefield. But he forgot. He forgot this in battlefield. He forgot that his role is to protect dharma. He came all of a sudden, he was as though he was in home. And these are all his grandfather and granduncle, this, that. the whole thing in his mind changed. Those fellows did not change. They were ready to attack him. This fellow changed. This is called moha, where you see something which is not there. And that, so shoka, the moha, shoka is created from moha. The grief of Arjuna was created because in his mind this was an atmosphere of hope, that he was a son or he was a grandson, etc., etc. That is why the shoka came. Shoka moha. Otherwise there would have no grief. Some time ago, when the same army came in the kingdom of Virat, at that time Arjuna single-handedly drove them all back. No shoka was there, because he was in battlefield. Here, from battlefield, he was transformed to home. From enemies of the dharma, they were transferred to svajana. See, this is moha, means seeing something which is not there. It's called delusion, moha. And that caused shoka. Shoka moha is a problem, as Bhashyakara says, right on the dot, So only one bhashya is consistent, and that is of Shankaracharya, because he just never swerves from his perception that moksha is the purpose, and moksha can be only by the knowledge of Atma, because bondage is due to ignorance. Very clear. And that's how the whole Bhagavad Gita is interpreted accordingly. So here, Arjuna is yudhyasva, meaning fight the battle, meaning perform your duty. Don't remain Arjuna. Now become the representative of dharma. Become a kshatriya, which is what you are, and representative of dharma, and therefore fight this battle. Although it is a fight, it means protect dharma. What is said to Arjuna is protect dharma, resist adharma. Yudhyasva, vigatajvara, give up all this, this vigatajvara, free from all this santapa, free from the grief. Because seeing Bhishma, Drona and all these people, and that they will be killed, I'll become their killer, has created in him all this santapa. How can I send arrows to Bhishma? What will I do without them? What's the point in having kingdom without these people? I will only enjoy the blood-stained pleasure. I don't want that. So when he became Arjuna, then all these people became his near and dear ones, and that has caused grief into him. Jvara. Vigata jvara. Come back to your true duty, true role. And the role is that you are here to protect dharma, not to kill people. Killing your relative will make anybody miserable. What do you mean? Killing Bhishma would make him miserable? He has grown in the lap of Bhishma. How can you imagine? If he's killing Bhishma, he can never be free from. Only when dharma and adharma, that is clear to him, that he is the representative of dharma and resisting adharma, then only shoka will not be there. Otherwise it will be there. Vigatajvara. Make your mind free from all this grief that has arisen. Because with grief you cannot perform your duty. You are sad and you are grieving. You cannot do justice to your work. Justice. If a surgeon is performing surgery and surgeon is normally very objective. He doesn't have any compunction. But suppose in emergency, his wife is brought to emergency room and then he has to perform, and then something happens there. So now she's not just patient, she's his wife. Moment that change happens from patient to wife, then he becomes husband from a surgeon. Then all kinds of things happen to him. Is it not so? That's what happened to Arjuna. So come back, become a surgeon and then do your job. No, my hand is shaking. That's what Jesus says. How can I perform surgery on this? How can I put knife in her stomach? How can all this blood will come on? He never thought like this with any other patient. But when his wife comes, all these thoughts come to him. How can I put knife in her stomach? Blood will flow out. That's called delusion. From a surgeon, he became a husband. So all the problems that arose is not to the surgeon, to the husband. Now, in that state of mind, he cannot perform surgery. Vigata jvara. Assume your role, proper role. That you are a surgeon, you are not husband. She is a patient, not wife. Can it happen? I don't know. But that has to happen for him to do his job, justice to his job. Similarly also, Arjuna, no more remain Arjuna. Tatra pasya sitanam pitrun atha pitamaha. So you are not a cousin and you are not a nephew and you are not a grandson. You are the representative of dharma. Then only all this jvara, all this santapa, all kinds of emotional problems that are raised on account of this, the distortion in his perception of himself, that will go when the right perception comes. Yudyasva vigata jvara. A complete thing. One verse is a complete verse describing the karma yoga. There are such verses like that, but he tells us all aspects of karma yoga. And also specifically to Arjuna and to everybody also. Having said this, then, do I have a choice in doing this or not? Do I have a choice in being a karma yogi? Do I have a choice in being a other-centered person, selfless person, or I can continue to be a selfish person? There is no choice. It is choice between happiness and unhappiness. Only two choices are there. With right choice, I create happiness for me. With wrong choice, I create unhappiness. There is nothing in between. So then Lord Krishna has to make it clear that, hey Arjuna, I have now taught you how to make choice in a given situation. What should be your attitude? Here, this karma yoga means the performing karma with the right attitude. Here yoga means attitude. So here in this verse 38, Lord Krishna taught the right attitude. I have a choice not to entertain that attitude. Lord Krishna says only at your peril you can do that. So if you function with this attitude, what is the reward? On the other hand, if you ignore this and function as before out of self-centeredness, then what is the loss? Both of these things must be told. See, in this verse, Lord Krishna is prescribing yudhyasva. This is called vidhi. He is enjoining, he is direct commanding Arjuna to do this. In the Veda, the style is that whenever vidhi means whenever the Shastra commands, enjoins you to do something, that you have to do this, then they should necessarily tell us what do I stand to gain by doing it, and what do I stand to lose by not doing it. That also I should know. Because you tell me whatever you want. I do not do just because you tell me. I do something because I want to do. You follow what I'm saying? It's not enough that you tell your child, do this. Swami doesn't do it. Doesn't study. I keep on telling him or her. They will study if they want to study, not because you tell them. You means anybody. Meaning that people, we do not do things because somebody tells us to do, we do because we want to do. So even if Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Yudhyasva, you should fight your battle, still Arjuna may not do that, still he has a choice. Therefore, Lord Krishna should tell what is the incentive of doing it. That is how you motivate a person to do the right things, by telling them what is the benefit of doing what is right and what is the disadvantage of not doing what is right. When I am told that, then what is command becomes my value. The value of value. Satyam vada. Veda says, may you speak truth. All right. That's what he says. That's what Veda says. I don't feel I'm obliged to speak truth just because they tell me. But when that Satyam becomes my value, then when I discover the advantage of speaking truth, then I will speak. Isn't it? That's called value, assimilation of value. Therefore, whenever any command is given in scriptures, we should know what is there to gain by following that command and what is the loss if I fail to follow. If I know, then I know that this is the advantage, and that is when I do things. So since in 38th verse, Lord Krishna said, Yudhyasva, here Arjuna, may you fight. Then Lord Krishna also should tell him what is the benefit of following his instruction, and secondly, what is the disadvantage or loss if he fails to follow instruction. So let us read the next verse. Verse number 31 on the page 37. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyantah muchyante tepi karmabhihi. Me idam matam. This opinion of mine, matam, or this conviction of mine, or this teaching of mine. The translation is this teaching of mine. Me means mine, matam means teaching, idam this teaching of mine. What is what I told you in the previous verse? That teaching. Anutishtanti, those people who follow this teaching, nityam anutishtanti, constantly follow, not sporadically. But then, those who constantly, consistently follow, meaning consistently maintain, basically what Lord Krishna is asking us to do is just to maintain the right attitude. In case of Arjuna, Lord Krishna said, may you fight your battle because that was Arjuna's duty. But in our case, all that is meant is that you do what is right in a given situation. So what is duty? Duty is doing what is right in a given situation. Although there may be a temptation to do what is convenient, because sometimes doing right is not convenient. Because doing right involves a certain amount of pain or suffering or loss. And I don't like pain, I don't like to lose something, I don't like to suffer, and therefore I take the easy way out and do what is convenient. So doing duty means doing what is right. But not only doing what is right, doing with this attitude. I can do what is right for my self-centered purpose, for I can do what is right as an offering to Ishvara. So doing what is right is taken for granted in the Bhagavad Gita. Dharma or doing what is right is taken for granted. But over and above that, this karma yoga means this attitude, the right attitude, as taught in the previous verse. Ye me matamidam nityam. So that is what Lord Krishna's specialty. If Lord Krishna says merely perform your duty, that is always told everywhere, in the Vedas also. So what is the additional thing that Bhagavad Gita says more than what is said in Karma Kanda? In the Karma Kanda section of Veda, the duties are prescribed. But Lord Krishna teaches that even the duty also should be performed with the right attitude. So then karma, the duty, becomes yoga. So ye me matam idam nityam, idam me matam, this teaching of mine. Our Swami translate this matam as teaching, understand? Matam means opinion. No. Conviction, no. Lord Krishna is teacher, is teaching. So, Swamiji's own thing here, my teaching. That's in translation also. Swamiji wants to convey something here, that Lord Krishna does not instruct. He is not an instructor, he is a teacher who unfolds things. So, the word matam is translated as teaching. So, those anutishthante, those who follow this teaching of mine, nityam anutishthante, consistently follow. Always follow. In all situations they follow. This is a big deal, it's a tall order. What he says is all tall order. If you find it difficult to follow, it is no wonder. But it says that this is what we have to slowly work towards. Nityam anutishthante, those who always follow this teaching of mine, of performing actions as an offering to Ishvara. Nirashi, without personal agenda. Nirmama, without a sense of ahankara and mamakara. So ahankara also is not there and mamakara also is not there. That I am a trustee and therefore in all humility I am offering what is given to me to the one who has given me. Anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavantaha anasuyantaha. To follow this is not easy because all the inner sentiments or emotions are quite against all this. Meaning that being selfish is a natural sentiment that we have because of our insecurity. So left to me, I will only do things for my personal agenda. And for me to give up my personal agenda, there must be a great incentive, then only I can do. Or I must have trust in the words of Lord Krishna that what he says will really happen. How do I know? How do I know that maintaining this attitude is for my well-being, that it will lead me to knowledge and moksha? How do I know? Because it has not yet happened. So this is where you are following somebody's words. And putting all your things into that basket. That requires trust in the veracity of the words. So shraddhavantaha, Lord Krishna says, those endowed with shraddha or implicit faith. I'll take a break here.